What's up? I'm Ashley, and we're going to be talking about The Regime, Episode 3, so let's get into it. At this point, a few months has passed, and Zubac has pretty much taken over the whole palace. And he now has Elena drinking tea made from dirt that had worms in it. So they're in the kitchen brewing up some wormy tea. And Elena is just over there gulping it down like that's normal. Zubac has her mind all messed up, like scrambled eggs all over the place. And it's not like they can just go outside and get any kind of dirt. It's complicated. It requires the use of 3 soils from 3 different areas of the country. And if any one of the palace staffers mess this up, they get fired. But as Elena drinks her wormy tea, Nicholas and Zubac sits at the table with her. And while Nicholas is trying to make conversation, they don't care what he's talking about. They're not trying to hear anything he's saying. He's being ignored. Elena brushes him off, like always, and she lets Zubac know that he's going to be leading the cabinet meeting. While at the meeting, Zubac is talking about land reform. And when the members of the cabinet starts asking questions about the pitch he just made about how this whole land reform thing can lead to a shortage of food and other nationwide issues, Zubac just slams his fist on the table and he's like, no questions. They're like, well, where's Elena? We need her. No, just do it. And he just leaves. So then Elena decides to make a video message for all the people in her country. And in this message, she's basically telling them this land belongs to them and that she will take back what all of the mean and wealthy leaders took from them. But the gag is, Elena's team put together this whole fake production to make this message. Everything about it was fake, which is hilarious. She's over there pretending to be down with the poor people when she just spent thousands of dollars on this fake set, just throwing out a whole bunch of lies. We find out that Elena and her family own a huge holding company in the nation. She has millions of dollars and a whole bunch of land, but she doesn't plan on giving this land and sharing this land to the poor people. She's going to give them the land of some other rich person. Some of the financial advisors and Nicholas, her husband, meet behind Elena and Zubac's back. And in this meeting, they talk about how Elena will make this country bankrupt if Zubac tells her to. They're worried about the shrinking GDP, the doormat cobalt mines, and the American cash cow, which has departed their areas for greener pastures. So it's now the eve of Elena's father's birthday, and she goes to visit him again in his underground glass coffin. And she has a full-on conversation with him again, as if he can hear her. She needs some help. Somebody help her. She tells him about this land reform idea, and she tells him that it's not weak or boring. You're wrong. I'm guessing she already knows what her father is thinking and what he would say if he could speak back to her. She goes on to tell him that he's delusional and that this is the real world and to grow up, daddy. She tells him that he's wrong about Zubac. She's like, why you mad? You mad because he's a real man? You're a dried up old cricket with teensy little balls. You're pathetic. No. Forget what I just said. I don't want to spoil your big day tomorrow. She is wild. Loony. Put her in the bin. After that talk, Elena goes to work out with Zubac. And while they're working out, she questions if the land reform thing is a good idea. And once Zubac hears this, he goes off. He kicks a hole in the wall. Then he grabs Elena and forces her to that same wall that he just kicked the hole in and forces her to breathe in that mold that's behind the wall. He tells her that the reason why she can't breathe it in is because she's still sick in the head. She's not cured. He's like, what is it that you're not telling me? Tell me. And she is shook at this point, and she ends up telling him that the slush funds in Belize and the state bank and the holding company has $1 billion or more assets. That's in her name, her husband's name, and through all of their partners. She tells him that they've stolen thousands of dollars from local businesses, farms, and pension funds. She tells him, I don't know how to get out of it. I've made a mess. I'm sorry. Since Zubac grabbed her by the arm, her hand hurt now, and she got to wrap it up. And Zubac is wrapping her arm up just like he should, since it's his fault in the first place. And I don't know why she's keeping this a secret, because if it was me, I'm telling everybody. Instead, she tells her husband that she slipped on the gym floor. and she's also on a breathing machine. She sure know how to exaggerate. Zubac tells Elena that she should sleep by herself for a while. So Elena goes and tells her husband to go sleep somewhere else tonight, and maybe for a few more days as well, because that's what Zubac suggested. And her husband is bothered. Okay, he is bothered. He just standing over there like a punk like he always do. He not saying nothing. What I don't appreciate is when Zubac yelled at Agnes. When she went inside of the room to see if they needed help with anything, he was like, yeah, I need help hanging you from the window. What? But Agnes is remaining calm. I don't know how she doing it. And he is crazy. Put him in the loony bin too. He was like, Elena almost died when she slipped on the floor that you're supposed to be managing. Let it happen again and you're going to the zoo. The zoo? Meanwhile, Elena is sitting in the bed letting her get yelled at when she know good and well she didn't fall. And Zubac is the reason why her wrist hurt. He grabs it. He was grabbing on her. Agnes prepares the kitchen for Joseph, Elena's dad, for his birthday party. And of course, there will be cake. But the cake topper is wild. The kitchen has made a plastic figure of Joseph dead in his casket to be placed on top of the cake. It's the day of his party now, and Elena is getting her lace front ready for it. And when she gets there, she makes a speech dedicated to her father, while she's standing there staring at his glass casket that she brought from downstairs. So he at his own party, dead and all, got everybody looking at him and got everybody looking at her, because everybody in there looking at her like she crazy. Everybody looking around like, what is going on? But as she's making the speech about how she can feel her dad's presence, Zubac stands up and he decides that he wants to make a speech as well. He gets up and says, we are terribly sorry for everything that's been taken from you. He about to spill the beans. So Nicholas stood up and he started singing happy birthday, and everybody else did too. Cut him right on off, because if not, everybody would have known about all the money that they have stolen and everything. It would have been a mess on her daddy's birthday. Not on her daddy's birthday. So then after the party, Elena goes to visit her daddy again. This time he's back where he's normally at, somewhere downstairs at the palace. But this time he starts talking to her. He tells her that she has to do a better job, and that she's the laughingstock of the country, and that her staff is walking all over her. So then the next day, Elena finally takes control of her position again, and she starts things off by kicking Zubac out of her seat at the cabinet meeting. And he can't lead any of the meetings anymore. At this meeting, Elena announces that the country's leadership needs to start taking back all of the land from their people in order to redistribute the land. She then pitches a whole new plan and says that the nation will shut down, and that they're now going to work with the Fabian corridor instead of focusing on land reform. Everybody in the room is scared now. They're like, what you doing? What that mean? Why you going to do that for? They're scared that this could now turn into a war. But Elena is saying that they have to reunite with the Fabian corridor in order to take back what was stolen. She don't care about nothing. She don't care about nobody being scared. She don't care about nobody's concerns. And by the end of the meeting, she ends up hiring Zubac as the so-called Fabian Freedom Captain, or whatever that means, and had him put this outfit on that he didn't want to put on. Later in the day, Elena announces this plan at a press conference. The reporters asked her if she really thought about the danger that this could bring to the country, and Elena pushes back. She don't care what they asking. She don't care about their questions. She gonna do it anyway. After the press conference, Zubac questions Elena. He's like, what are you doing? And Elena treats him just like she treats her husband, as if he's nothing, like he's some kind of a annoying fly that just keeps on bothering her. She's not trying to hear anything he got to say no more, since her dad woke up from the dead and started talking to her. So then later on, Elena has a party for the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where a comedian is the host and he's roasting everybody in the room. And guess who don't think it's funny? Zubac. He don't think nothing funny. But at this party, the lights starts flashing and it causes Oscar, Agnes' son, to have a seizure. Now remember, it's Zubac's fault to why Oscar isn't on his medication anymore and has him taking one of his remedies that's not working. And we found out earlier in the episode that Agnes can't keep sneaking him his pills anymore because Peter can't get her the pills anymore because he's afraid that he's going to get locked up. Even though Zubac has been so mean to Agnes and even taking her kids' pills away, she still remains nice to him. And again, I don't know how she do it. Even after he yelled at her, she still helped him get dressed once she saw that he was abusing himself again. I don't know how she do it. Talking about, it's my job. No, there's limits. Now here is where things get even more crazy. Elena and Zubac get into a fight when she asked Zubac, do you always sniffle like that? She's like, have you always done that thing? He's like, what thing? She's like, that thing that you're doing right now. They start going back and forth and just start dragging each other about all these random things. Zubac accuses Elena of stealing money from her people, and Elena wants to know if Zubac ever dreams about sleeping with her. She tells him, you're not usually bright, are you? You big baby ox man. Huh? He tells her, your father always knew you were weak. She calls him an ox again, and that's when he puts his hand around her neck. He started choking her. I don't know what it is about him being called an ox, but he wasn't having that. He's like, I'm not an ox. I'm not an ox, you hear me? She's like, no, you're a butcher. He stood up at that point and was about to hit her in her face. I said, oh my God, but she wasn't even really reacting. She was pretty much looking like, okay, do it, do it. They both crazy. He finally lets her go, and when he leaves the room, he decides to take out his anger on the security guards, and he can't be stopped. He just keeps on hitting them over and over, as if he has some kind of PTSD or something. Then we jump to Agnes asking Elena if she can restart Oscar's epilepsy medication because what Zubac has him doing is not working. He's having seizures again. Elena's like, mother to mother. Of course, mother to mother. Why didn't you tell me that our child is having seizures again? Why is Agnes playing along, having Elena call her kid her kid? Elena tells her, yeah, of course, he can get back on his medication immediately, but I don't trust you now. You didn't tell me about his seizures happening again, so he's going to be staying with me for a while so I can watch over him since you didn't tell me. No, that's when we throwing bows. Okay, it's about to be a fight up in here. I'm causing a scene. Cause what you mean? My son, that's not yours, is not coming home with me. I wish somebody would try to tell me my dog is not coming home with me. Somebody better call 911 cause they gonna need it. So after Zubac attacked Elena, then went in there and attacked the guards, we seen him getting escorted out of the palace and onto the street. But I'm pretty sure this is not the last that we've seen of Zubac. I don't know what he about to do, but I think he about to turn up. Elena better watch out. Everybody in that palace better watch out. He's scary and he's dangerous. So I don't know. Y'all better start praying up in there. But y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode down in the comments so we can talk about it. And if you haven't already and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.